right, happy Friday, good people. Welcome to the second official episode of At the Whistle. My name is Clement Gibson. I am here with Darrius, Barron, and Kambui Bomani. Martavian Thompson is not in with us today. These Duke Blue Devils and Zion Williams, very impressive to start the season. They're talking about LeBron potential. Is it too early to start talking about that?
Well, personally, I don't like to do that. For the simple fact, I feel like you're limiting someone's legacy.
LeBron is limited to
No, because this is the issue between LeBron and Jordan.
Okay.
You know, LeBron's better than Jordan. LeBron is just so now anything that you do, you're gonna be comparing him to Jordan.
Is that
anything that Zion Williamson does, you're gonna be comparing it to LeBron. Like, he's the next LeBron. He's this, he's that. Why can't he just be Zion Williamson? That's my whole thing about it.
Well, he is Zion Williamson. It's just that, we love hype. We love new talent. When you see somebody it's like, you ever had the new girl coming to class and everybody looking at it like, oh shit, this is the new girl. I want her. And then a couple months in, everybody like, oh yeah, they go Sherry. It's like we like new things, like new toys, new cars. Like we like new things.
I mean, I get that, but comparing the new person to the old all the time, like, okay, you've never been in class and saw the new transfer girl come in and be like, oh man, that's Monica. Oh man, hey, she gonna be the new Sherry. Like, you never said that. Yeah.
Who ain't never said that?
You come on, bro.
I've said it.
I just feel like
something wrong with you, then, brother.
Comparison is just the art of the game, because what's gonna happen is eventually there's a chance that maybe Zion's better than LeBron, and then when the next crop of talent comes in, they could be like, well, is he the next Zion? Because I just feel like evolution in the world of sports is paramount for people to get better. So I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest, because at the end of the day, he does have LeBron intangibles in terms of measurables, but I feel like he has one thing that LeBron really didn't have, and that was just the tenacity and the drive to be an all-time great. Like, every time he comes down the court,
got that dog
you
in
just
that
feel
Russell
the ferocity,
Westbrook,
the tenacity. And I remember hearing about his favorite players when he was a junior on YouTube, and he was like, my favorite players are Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, and LeBron. And you see a little bit of all those guys in him. Kawhi Leonard, the defensive intensity and capabilities, his ability to, come out of nowhere and protect the rim and jump in the passing lanes. And then Westbrook, the ferocity when he comes down the paint and the lane and finishes with both hands. So I think he has a chance to be an all-time great.
See, my thing is, Zion's great, but a lot of people saying he's not even the best player on his team.
People saying R.J. Barrett, but if you look
I don't think so.
I know.
Just because he scores more points.
Like, if you look at the game, the season opener when they played Kentucky, Barrett took a lot of shots.
Yeah.
He did.
23 shots, I believe
he took a lot of shots. He was trying to fill it up. And, I mean, that's going to be his role. He's going to be the most aggressive scorer.
Can I say one thing, please?
Yeah.
You say,
I ain't never seen you say anything.
I mean, I just want to make a point. You said that he was filling it up. He took a lot of shots, right?
He did.
So, can we say, like, if somebody took maybe 20 shots and made 23 points, can we say that that's downright terrible?
Well, he had 33. But it's not terrible.
It's inefficient. You know what I'm saying?
Taking 20 shots and making 23 points.
33.
No. I'm just saying.
Yeah. That's bad.
That's bad. Right?
That's very bad.
Of course.
Okay, so I mean, I just wanted to say, Westbrook, he's famous for doing that.
We know this.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just making sure.
Official Westbrook is actually the best thing for the Thunder, but that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother day. But with Barrett, he took 23 shots. Now, granted, they weren't running a lot of set plays in that season opener. It was really like, all right, we got this elite talent, top 3 recruits. So when we get into half court, just beat your men off the dribble and we'll take it from there. But with Williamson, he had 28 on 13 shots. And he got it really in just being him.
And the scary thing about him, it's like it looked like he could just do it whenever he wants to.
Whenever.
Like, you see the block he had on those dudes?
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up.
He came.
He's 6'7".
Nick Richards is 6'10". Like, he's 6'10", and he just came out of nowhere, and he was like, nope. Like, he literally said, nope. And he then took the ball
in his elbow.
And I was like,
I've never seen anybody catch a body while getting the block.
Right. The block was sensational, but the next best thing that was sensational, maybe more sensational than the block, was the pass. Comes down half court. A perfect bounce pass executed to Barrett as he's cutting to the rim. Easy deuce in the foul. Like, that's the LeBron-esque plays that we see from time and time
And it's
again.
not like they were playing scrubs. Like
No.
they were playing Kentucky. Who's supposed to be ranked number 2 in the recruiting class. And look at the gap in between the two.
Like Kentucky, they're going to be a very good team. In my opinion, this is the deepest team I've seen from Kentucky since that team that went 38-1, lost to Wisconsin when they had Cauley Stein and Carly Towns. But that second best recruiting class was nothing in comparison to the top 3 recruits in that class that Duke had, because Reddish, he was just spotting up, and he's still at 22.
Yeah.
He's a very good shooter. Barry was just being ultra aggressive, and Zion was just being an athletic freak of nature.
Well, personally, I don't think that, because a lot of people saying, oh, they're going to go undefeated and this, that, and third. But I think teams will adjust to their playing style sooner or later, because they have 2 dominant options, maybe 1. So teams will adjust to it. But do y'all think that Duke will be able to coast through the whole regular season and conference play and win a national championship?
I say no. Their bench leaves something to desire. Like, they had Jack White come on the court and Alex O'Connell. A lot of people were on Alex O'Connell, I think, last year, and he made a couple corner threes. Jack White is a jack of all trades. But there's a drop-off when they go to the second unit. And I feel like, in the ACC, I think you play cats twice a year, so I think guys are going to be accustomed to what people do well and what they don't. And so I think there's going to be some slip-ups along the way, because they're young kids.
Right.
And at times when you're such an immense talent at a young age, things become easy. And when you hit a wall, you feel like, all right, I can just get away with, this block in a row by just going off of my talent. And there's going to be some growing pains, and there's going to be some else. But if they don't win a championship, it's a failure, because they're immensely talented than everybody when the ball rolls on the floor and they put their mind to it.
Well, speaking of hitting the wall, let's get into John Wall and Washington Wizards. Is it time to break them up?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. Well, for the main reason is because they've become stagnant. Yes, they've been a playoff team, but have they been a permanent fixture, like where you can depend on them to make it to the second round and actually compete? No. They've made the playoffs, but for the past year, we've seen the past few years, we've seen the same song and dance. John Wall, Bradley Beal being one of the best shooters in the league, and this and that. And honestly, I feel like the best playoff run that they made is back when Paul Pierce made that incredible shot.
It is Atlanta.
What year was
I
that?
caught
That was
game.
like 2016, something like that.
Yeah,
that was, and
2016,
here it is, 2 years later, and they still playing the same ball.
Right.
You got different teammates, but still playing the same ball.
So
I feel like if better teams can break up and start from scratch
and overpass you, Philly, Milwaukee.
right.
We've all seen in our lifetime the best teams become weak.
Yeah.
And the weakest teams win championships. We've seen the Cleveland Cavaliers win a championship. Just think about that. Golden State Warriors.
Right.
So if the best teams can break up and start from scratch, with Indiana doing it, Chicago doing it, Miami.
Yeah. Why not?
It's just that time, man.
So if you two, let's say y'all are GMs, put your GM pants on.
Yeah.
Who are you getting rid of, Wall or Beal, and why?
Man, it's a tough one, to be honest. I would actually say John Wall, and I feel like it's gonna be
contract to get.
I know contract is tough, but I feel like because of John Wall's credibility and credentials in the league, I think I could get
more for him.
Yeah, even with the, I'm not gonna say horrendous contract, because I felt like at that time he deserved his money. I'm never gonna critique somebody over, oh, they shouldn't get this. Like, when it's your time, it's your time. And point guard is kind of like,
I do.
Yeah, point guard is kind of like quarterback in the NFL. Like, when your time's up at that position, if you're an elite talent, you're gonna get paid, higher than the next guy. But I just feel like John Wall, there's certain limitation in this game that just, for me personally, I feel like you can get somebody else at that point guard position that's probably not as has God-given gifts like him, but they can get the job done and you can take it to the next level.
Beal better.
Because Beal is the most efficient player. Wall shooting, it's a problem. And I know Darrius was like, well, you don't need a jump shot to become an elite player. You do.
Don't.
Well, in my opinion,
Elite in
the NBA,
a top player on the
top
championship
player,
team.
You do.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
Especially in this day and age.
You do. You do. And their play style, Scott Brooks came from Oklahoma City, and, you know, he carried over the ISO basketball tradition. And he got away with it in Oklahoma City because Durant was such a lethal, legendary scorer. And Westbrook was, in my opinion, way more athletic than John Wall, that he could finagle his way out of, you know, bracket coverages and still get shots off. But with Wall, you know, there's a limitation in his jump shot game, so you can't really go ISO so much because all defense are going to do is, okay, you want to go 1-on-5, we're all going to pack the lane and dare you to take a jump shot. And he just consistently can knock that down. And Bradley Beal, as efficient as a scorer as he is, he's not the KD level scorer because he doesn't have the measurables and I think the tricks in his bag. So, in my opinion, they should move the ball a lot more, do a lot of man motion cuts, all that. But you can't because Scott Brooks just isn't that X's and O's guy. He's an ego manager.
He needs to go too. I don't think he's the guy for this.
Right, but he can't
team.
manage the egos because you got Wall saying, you know, Beal got paid before me, and there's still resentment there. And I don't know how these guys have been able to coexist past that, but they have. But they're 2-8.
What about you? Where you going?
How about both of them?
That's fair. That's fair.
You get rid of both of them.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
exactly what you were saying. Like, you get more for John Wall.
Right.
Just think about it like this, right? If you got all of these weak teams in the league, and the team ain't really even got to be weak. They could just be missing a point guard.
Yeah, like.
And say that this team has been a bottom tier team for however long. If I get him John Wall, I can get their first round draft pick.
True.
Now, I got youth on my team.
Oh,
Bradley Beal has been known for how long to be one of the best shooters in the league. If not in the league, in the East.
Yeah.
You can't deny that, right?
Right.
So how many of these teams need shooters? You know, think about that. When you look at OKC, does OKC need shooters?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Does
they can't.
does the Clippers need shooters? Like
They do. That's a fair.
Charlotte, and like you got all of these different teams who need
Lakers.
shooters. All right, man, let's crack somebody card. Let's go ahead and get these two out of the way. Let's crack somebody card. You know what I'm saying? And then we can, you know, it ain't gonna be pretty. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking from what I see my team doing. You know what I'm saying? We got rid of Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Pau Gasol.
Yeah.
Everybody. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we seeing it now. Like, we playing terribly, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you can't build on top of old stuff.
No.
If that makes any sense, man.
Right.
You know, so get rid of both of them, man. You know.
Is Derrick Rose back? 31 points.
He never left.
He never left.
He never left.
He never
Y'all
left.
be blowing me with this, man. He never left. On New York, he averaged like, what, 15, 16 points? Now, with y'all might say that that's bad.
Far cry from his MVP.
Yeah.
Bro, okay.
But it's still good to be in the
look,
league. Yeah.
Look, after you've had countless knee surgeries,
Yeah,
bro,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Everybody, oh, he's not playing at his MVP level. Only thing that's changed is he's not as explosive anymore. Your explosiveness does not make you that great of a player. Like, you have to have that finesse, bro. Like, come on, bro.
It really
His
made Rose
explosiveness
special.
was
It made him special.
it was very special.
It was the
It was
explosiveness.
special, yes. It's
and the
entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Is Stephen Curry explosive? Was
No.
Dirk Nowitzki explosive?
But he has.
Rondo, was he explosive?
They have different-
Ricky Rubio, is he explosive?
They have different elements in their game
You know what I'm saying?
in
John
comparison
Wall.
to Rose
Look,
that make them unique.
Look, back when Derrick Rose was still reigning league MVP and everything,
Right.
we would say Westbrook, Derrick Rose, and John Wall were all in the same point guard category,
But wait,
right?
the time he won his MVP, we
Yeah.
would say that no,
No.
because Westbrook wasn't that dude, and Wall, I
And
don't
Wall
think was
was-
even
Bro,
drafted.
they were
No,
they
he
were-
was drafted. He was like,
drafted. He was young. Yeah.
yeah.
They were the same caliber. Like they had the same play style almost. Now one probably did something better than the other, but they were all in the same. But what I'm saying is like you can't just say, oh, he's not playing because he's not that explosive anymore, bro. Like he has more finesse than anything, and he uses that finesse. Yeah, people like to applaud Kyrie Irving for the layups. Well, who was doing it first?
D Rose, he was.
Who, like, come
Well,
on
it's
now.
a
Derrick
completely
Rose-
different style.
Derrick Rose changed
Michael Jordan
the
said the
point guard game, bro. Like,
He
no
did.
one was doing what Derrick Rose was
He
doing at the
did.
point guard position.
He trendsetted the athletic one. I mean, he did.
Just
He
like
made
Steph
it.
just changed it again.
Right.
So with Derrick Rose being back, you know what?
He never left.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Is it helping the Timberwolves because they still seem to lose? You think Jimmy's being too hard on the guys?
No, I don't think you can be too hard on anybody who's not putting in the work that, you know what I'm saying?
But has Jimmy put in enough work for him to sit down and tell Carl and Wiggins that, you know, they need to work harder? Because I'm looking at his resume and I'm like, what have you really accomplished to be sitting here and telling me at 22 years old, 23, that I need to work harder. And it's like, all right, well, as far as Cat goes, I'm like, I got more votes than you for the All-Star ballot.
That's cool. Zaza Pachulia also got votes for the All-Star ballot.
Yeah,
what that mean?
That was a shame.
It means nothing nowadays, bro. All-Star ballot means nothing.
I think Jimmy's an issue, but I think the deeper issue is really Tom Thibodeau. Like, I don't think they really ever followed suit in what he, planned for the team. And since Jimmy Butler is an extension of Thibodeau, if you don't respect the coach and Butler kind of has that lunch pail hard work mentality and they ain't vibing with that either, then I don't really see none of this really working out for the team in the long run. So, listen, D Rose is having a very successful season, but I think the problem is Butler and Thibodeau are still there.
They need to go.
They got to go because
they got to go.
And why they got to go?
Because they're not fit for the – look, the Timberwolves have invested in Cat and Wiggins. So when you create the hierarchy, like when you sit down – when you sit down – what's the owner name? Tim Wolf or something like that? Whatever his name is. When he sits down and he says, okay, who can we not get rid of? Who have we invested most of our time and money in?
Right.
It's Wiggins and Cat.
Yeah.
So you have to look at, okay, these two guys, we've already put a lot of time and effort into them. They're here. Now, what else can we do? Butler doesn't want to be there already.
No.
I never thought Tibbs was the correct coach to coach Cat and Wiggins.
And why is that?
I did at the time, though.
Because I never thought so, because they're not defensive-minded for one. Like, the Warriors, when they first started, they weren't like hard-nosed defensive team. They were known for their offense. You had Cat, Wiggins, and Levine, all under 21, all averaging about 20 points a game. When have you ever seen that? In a league where offense is dominant, you need to ride with that. You know what I'm saying? That's 60 points from 3 young guys who are growing up together. You need to keep that together. You need an offensive-minded coach who's going to come in and be like, all right, we're going to score buckets. Because when when you're in the flow of the game and you scoring, you're going to want to play more defense. It's going to happen. But
defense negates offense, man.
I think
defense wins chips, man.
I think we can realize that Thibodeau is just not a coach
not.
For the youth.
He's just too hard-headed.
For the youth, it doesn't work.
And why is he hard-headed, though?
Because he's like, it's my way or the highway. You can't always be like the same thing I talked about last week. The person that you got to know who you're coaching.
Got to be flexible.
A coach is a motivator. You got to know how to get your guys up. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just always be my way, my way, my way. And that's who he is. He's a hard knocks old school coach, but it's a new age.
You have to, as a coach, it's more than just X's and O's. You got to manage the egos too, and you got to know your personnel. So you have to be flexible. Like, I remember.
First of all, okay, so at what point do we put this on the players? You saying you got to be able to put your ego. What about the players?
You're right, yeah.
What about the players? Why can't they put their ego aside?
I said that Wiggins should not be getting no max. I've said
absolutely
that.
not,
right.
bro. He's trash. He's trash. He's playing like trash receptacles, bro. There's no way around it.
But since he has the max, you gotta work with reality. So since we're gonna invest with, I don't know why, Andrew Wiggins, and I kind of understand with Karl-Anthony Towns.
You have to
gotta build around him.
You have to know your market too. Yeah. Like if Wiggins leaves, where you gonna get a player of his potential to come in? Like how you gonna fill that void?
How long has Wiggins been in the league? This is his 4th year. This is his 4th year. We still talking about this man's potential?
Yeah, I have to
agree. He ain't showed us nothing yet.
I have to agree.
He showed.
And he getting all this money, and we still talking about potential.
He scored like 25 a game a couple years ago.
A couple years ago.
There was once.
That was before Jimmy got there.
But this is the thing. Anytime I bring up Derrick Rose, y'all say, "Oh, that was a couple years ago. That was a couple years ago. That was a long time ago, right?" But it don't matter. Y'all say it was a long time ago.
Right.
A couple years in the league is a long time ago. Hell, a few years ago, Jeremy Lin had the Linsanity thing going on.
That was not a few years ago.
Either way, bro, a few years, 4 years in the league is a long time to prove yourself. Jimmy did it. And he wasn't even starting, bro.
Yeah, Jimmy, he came from.
Jimmy came up from under Thibodeau, who run his starters into the ground, and y'all
let me ask
know
you this.
that.
So Jimmy in his 4th year and Andrew Wiggins in his 4th year, who's better?
Jimmy was at least able to check LeBron James with confidence, bro.
I don't know about that.
I can't.
Come on, bro. Go watch the games.
Well,
Go watch the games.
Kyrie was checking Jamal Murray with confidence, but he still put 48 on his head and threw the ball into the stands.
Yeah.
How y'all feel about Kyrie's reaction to that?
I felt like personally that I understood where Kyrie was coming from, but I just felt like you. Like, you be embarrassing people a lot on the court.
Right.
Not, it's like when the crossovers
We
and the
will never
step back.
forget what he did to Brandon Knight.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, when you have your shine, you want everybody, to see you do great things. And when Murray, has his shine, it's kind of like, oh, he's showing me up. I really felt like it was more about, because if you look at the game, he went after Murray at first. Like, he was actually D'ing him up, getting some steals and whatnot, and offensively, he was stepping in his offensive repertoire, and he was bringing everything. And then Murray came right back at him and upstaged him. And there was a point in the fourth quarter where Denver was like, Murray, take us home. And he took them home. And it was kind of like, oh, man, like this young cat at the point guard just didn't show me up. However, when he went for the 50, this is my personal opinion about cats padding stats. When you're winning, I do not care. I don't. You can pad as much stats as you want because the game's in hand, you've done your job. And if you want to, like, add up to your averages and whatnot, it's not affecting the team because you're already about to win. Now, when you're losing, I saw LeBron, Game 5 against the Warriors when he was with Cleveland. The second time, Kyrie's last year there. Game's over. And LeBron just out here just driving to the basket. I'm like free layups. Like, he's getting free buckets. And I'm like, what is he doing? And I started to think, and then at the end, they're like, LeBron James has averaged a triple-double. I'm like, oh. So this is what it was all about to end the game. It's like, let me pad my stats because we taking this L, and I could be like, I could tell my kids and I could tell my fan base, I averaged a triple-double against the greatest team ever. Put me up there.
Are you accusing LeBron James of stat padding?
Oh, LeBron James
How
stat pads all the
dare you?
time. He's not
You better
bad.
be on the lookout for the LeBron stands.
Yeah, they need some help right now.
Okay, with Jamal, let me ask you this: who is Jamal Murray?
He's a young up and coming.
He was a lottery pick from Kentucky.
I'm sorry, can you say that again, Clement?
He's a young up and coming point guard.
Young up and coming point guard playing against who?
Kyrie Irving.
You ain't even got to say nothing else.
No.
See, the thing is, Kyrie Irving has had how many 50-point games? And you gonna get mad at this young man?
That many.
But it don't matter. Look, okay, so say if he only had one 50-point game, that's still Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
You are a name.
Right.
You have a bounty on your head. If I could drop 50 on Kyrie,
Exactly.
what?
Yeah.
Give me my money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
But it's
how
principle in the NBA to like not
okay.
like when the game's over, the game's over. Like Reggie Miller and Kobe threw hands because of that.
Hey, if that's what you feel like you gotta do, man, you gonna have to run my fade, bro. But I'm about to drop this 50 because you know what? What happened after I dropped 50 don't matter.
Yeah.
Just like you said how LeBron getting them triple doubles.
He do.
People won't remember that 20 years from now. They'll just remember LeBron averaged a triple-double. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jamal Murray coming up, young up-and-coming point guard, checking Kyrie Irving, drop 50 on Kyrie Irving head?
Yeah.
What? We ain't going to remember, he took that last three when it was only 5 seconds left on the clock to get 50.
Two sides of the coin. Like, all right, if we're going to say that when the game's over, let up, okay. On the other side, don't chase stats. I mean, Curry did the same thing, I think, against somebody this year. He out here getting threes, and J.R. Smith tweeting, he's stat padding. And I'm like, well, he's winning. So, I mean, it don't matter. So
I mean, in a league where the MVP, one of the past MVPs is known for stat padding,
right,
triple-doubles.
Exactly.
How could you get mad at somebody else for stat
Exactly. So, I'm just
It's definitely a different league. And Houston's a different team, too. 4-6 at this point. 4-6 at this point. They just lost to OKC last night without Russell Westbrook.
That was a tough one.
And Paul George only had like 20 points, so it's not like he went for 40 or something to save the day.
You know what they need?
They need Ariza and
Right. Do you know what Houston needs?
Jimmy.
No.
I think they do. I think
Tracy McGrady and Hakeem Olajuwon.
They need some greats.
They need something. They need defense, bro. They need defense. You feel me? Because last season, like one of the homies was just telling me last night, Houston played good defense last year. No, that's not the case. They trash receptacles.
Their last two games, though, they've held teams under 100 points. Now, last night, it wasn't anything that they did special defensively. It was a brick show. Everybody was just bricking everything that they put up. I'm shocked that Oklahoma City won by that much of a large margin because both teams were horrendous from the field. But
it be like that sometimes.
Gotta admit, Dennis Schroeder he's gonna pay huge dividends from. Russell Westbrook's not on the floor because he's hurt. And you put a starting caliber NBA point guard in his place that can run the offense. They really didn't miss a beat. They still ran their sets, and Schroeder kind of did Westbrook-esque things because he's kind of a score-first point guard too. So, the ball was moving and whatnot. It just came down to people didn't make shots. However, Harden's back. And I feel like Houston, they're going to get their stuff together. But defensively in the playoffs, you really need cats to be able to lock down the elite scores because in the playoffs, it's all about matchups. And if your small forward can't guard Kevin Durant, then
Who
can. But if he can't provide a roadblock for him, you're going to have a nightmare all series. And so it's a problem.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all ever heard people talk about, foreign NBA players compared to American NBA players.
Right.
They say that Americans are more so athletic.
Yeah.
And that, foreigners are more so fundamental.
Why do you think they're zone?
So when we look at Dennis Schroeder, he's German, right?
Yeah. The black
When you look at Dennis Schroeder coming in up under Russell Westbrook, maybe he's running a more fundamental game.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It gives the
of
team
course.
a different look.
Right.
That's like, I know y'all get tired of me and my Bulls references, but Jimmy's last year there, when Rondo was coming off the bench,
Right.
the bench almost outperformed the starters.
That's fair.
Why? Because sometimes a fundamental approach to the game is all you really need,
Right.
to succeed. Maybe sometimes you don't need threes and dunks all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need that playmaker who's gonna, hey, you go over there, we're gonna run this play. I need you to post up, big man.
That's
something
why
like that.
late in games, Schroeder should be handling the point under 5 minutes and have Westbrook play off because his, how do
You
I
think
put it?
Westbrook's gonna let that happen?
Yeah, but no. But it's, Westbrook. We know this. His execution late games is horrendous. So it just felt like last night it was a breath of fresh air where it was like, all right, the offense was still able to work. It just came down to both teams just shot horribly. Just Houston shot worse. But yeah, defensively, it's gonna be a problem for them in the long run.
Do y'all think Markelle Fultz is still injured? I think it was his trainer came out and said that he's not 100% healthy.
Nah, he's 100%. I think personally, it's gonna come down to him mentally becoming comfortable with his shot in terms of, all right, this is my shot. I'm gonna pull it when I'm open because there were times where cats sag off of him and he's just hesitant. So he's just gonna have to grow accustomed to, all right, this is my shot form. I'm gonna utilize it when the defense gives me the chance to because, all right, outside of the shot, he's a pretty good player. He can assist the ball, he can rebound, he can low-key defend, and then athletically, he's got the hops to be able to,
We saw his
do some
Instagram
dunks and
videos
whatnot.
over the summer.
Yeah, so he can do everything else. His shot is an issue. However, even if he gets the shot, let's be real. Jason Tatum looks like he's going to be the best player in that class. So Philadelphia made a mistake. They just did because what they're missing now is that wing that can create his own offense, and Tatum provides that. And right now, occupying that spot is a spot-up and streaky shooter named Robert Covington. So
I was watching First Take a couple days ago. I think it was last night, actually. And Stephen A. Smith, he had opened the show and addressed, he said he was in a Lakers locker room after the Timberwolves game. And Rondo made a slight comment at him.
Yeah, right.
And it sounded like it was real disrespectful. He was kind of like
how
hurt
Rondo
by it.
get down.
Yeah.
You know how Rondo
What do y'all think Rondo said? Because he said he didn't say it to him, but he said it in his direct. When you want somebody to hear something, but he didn't say it exactly to him. What do you think Rondo said that made Stephen A. that salty to go on TV and say something?
He probably said something about him having a Steve Harvey line.
His hairline's it's not hitting.
Yeah, bro had the same fro since we were kids, man. Like, bro, you gotta switch it up, bro. But,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows, man? Stephen A. Smith been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like the fact that he tries to, like, for example, like what he did with Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Do you really want me as an dog? I'm Kevin Durant. What? Come on now.
Yeah.
So personally, I love Stephen A. Smith sometimes, but like anyone else, it's other times I feel like he do sometimes a little bit too much. And Rondo just being a real guy that he is, hey fam.
The issue I think was he literally said on national TV, trade Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
He called, and Rondo's like, bro, you literally called out my teammate to be traded.
Oh, yeah.
And
For standing up
Rondo
for me.
looks at him as, the protector of the young guys.
He lucky Rondo ain't spitting his face.
Right. So I don't think he was mad
I
about.
know just ain't running around and spitting.
I don't think he was mad about him saying Rondo should have got suspended for spinning because Rondo at this point.
I think that's what it had to do with it.
I really don't because I'm pretty sure Rondo's had so many people call him a jerk and not a great teammate. He's immune to that. But I think at this point, he feels I'm protecting the young guys. And he literally told one of his young guys, you got to get traded. And he really didn't provide a very good reason why. He could at least said he's not a good fit on the team, which is another topic for another day because I kind of agree. So he's like, man, I'm not going to let you do this. So he probably said, hey, keep your name out of such and such mouth, because you know, coexist with us when we go through the trials and tribulations of practice and pregame and all that. So you had to protect Brandon Ingram.
Man, shout out to Ron though. Shout out to
he's
respecting
always,
and looking out for the younger guys.
He's
Shout
always
out to
been that teammate guy.
Shout out to Jimmy Butler for flying Tyus out to go see his brother play.
Right.
You know, when y'all gonna fly me out somewhere? What's going on? I need to reevaluate my friends and teammates.
I'll do that when I'm not on college tuition anymore, brother.
Anyways, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of At the Whistle. Before we close, I want to just have a moment of silence for the shooting that happened in Thousand Oaks, California. Thank you. We hope to see change, and that this isn't something we grow accustomed to, because this is really sad ordeal that people can't even go out and have a good time on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
You know, but thank you again for joining us. If you would like to hear more, you can listen via podcast on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, or you can go to www.thejsuflash.com and hear more. We'll see you all next week. Blow that whistle.